I think my background really helps me at this firm because I have done every auxiliary job besides just being a lawyer. I have done investigative. I've done intakes. I've handled the mail before. I mean, when I was young, I was literally in the mailroom sorting mail and doing postage. I've been a legal assistant. I've been a case manager. I've done just about every position before being an attorney. And so for me, it's easier to coordinate a case or to streamline a case because I know all the other moving parts and I know what they need to do. And so I can kind of delineate responsibilities, I think, a little bit better than someone who has never worked at a firm like this, who comes in and is used to the more traditional area of law where it's just the lawyer and the paralegal and everything is kind of done between those two. You know, here we have investigators that a lot of times will go out and take the photos or take the interviews that you need done. That's helpful. And if you can use those resources effectively, you can move cases quicker and to a better outcome than if you try and do everything on your own. Yeah, we have 39 attorneys, and I think we're still growing, still looking to hire. I think having so many lawyers also helps because one lawyer may have really focused on one issue. For example, last year I got really into Uber's insurance. Uber has a really weird insurance. It applies sometimes when they're driving, sometimes when they're not driving. There are different levels of their insurance. There are sometimes personal insurances that are implicated. And I had a weird case that just brought all of it in together. And eventually I learned it. We had to file a specific contract action to delineate which insurance levels were going to be applicable in that case. We got the insurances sorted out, and now if someone in this office has an Uber case, they come to me and I can explain, okay, this is what you need to do. These are the cases that it control. This is the Uber policy. And that helps, I think, everyone at the firm, not just me. I think the hardest thing convincing them of a lot of times is cases where there's not a lot of damage to the car. And that's because people like pictures. They like to see mangled metal and steel, and they think, oh, wow, that actually hurt someone. But you have everyone has friends that get in accidents where the car looks absolutely wrecked and they walk away with nothing happened. You know, they walk away totally fine. It's hard to convince jury members that hundreds of thousands worth of medical bills can be related to a bump where there's not much damage to the vehicle.
How can that happen?
We're relatively fragile, people are, and you know, when you're younger, I think I didn't realize that, and then as I've gotten older, I realized that there's a lot that the human body is not meant to handle, and you know, a car weighs 2 tons or whatever it is, and even going 3-4 miles an hour, that is a lot of force, and when there's not much damage to the car, a lot of times it's because the force is being transferred to the occupants. And so someone that gets hit from behind in relatively slow traffic, their body gets pushed forward very quickly, the seatbelt catches them, you know, their head continues forward, and all of a sudden your neck or your back or some part of your spine gets messed up. And just because there's not much damage to the car doesn't necessarily mean there's no damage to the person.